Welcome to FinOps in Action. I'm your host, Alon Arvat. Each week, I'll sit down with FinOps experts to explore the toughest challenges between FinOps and engineering. This show is brought to you by Point 5, empowering teams to optimize cloud costs with deep detection and remediation tools that drive action. Hello, everyone, and welcome to FinOps in Action. Today, we have a fascinating discussion ahead of us. We're hosting today a person who manages a team of 5 individuals worldwide and overseeing cloud spending for a company with over 140,000 employees. He is a FinOps ambassador for the FinOps Foundation, and on his free time, he is a fly fisherman. So I'm happy to welcome FinOps Lead at H&M, Andrée Lundberg. Andrée, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited. This is the last push for the week, but Elon, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm really happy to have you. And Andrée, please share with us, what should be the FinOps leader top priority?
Get people involved and get them engaged. You need to have a vision. If you have a good vision, people can follow you. If you're just a talented person and you want to shine on your own, well, not so many people. You might shine and you might be a successful person, but you need to have a vision to have people follow it.
That's amazing. I can tell you that one of the reasons that I started FinOps in Action is because I felt that FinOps is actually a leadership role. So it's not about doing tactical work. It's about leading the organization to a better, more efficient place. And in our previous discussions, you talked about that you need to move from running FinOps to driving FinOps. What does it mean to you?
It means that, like I said just now, that if you run FinOps, eventually gonna get it never scales. Because if you are the super engineer or you're the financial wizard or anything, it's just gonna stop with you and maybe one more person or something like that. So that is what happens. Everyone knows that we are so engaged in so much. We need to be as partly SMEs or get involved in so many areas and in so many capabilities. So if you start running FinOps, it's gonna stop with you basically. But if you drive FinOps, you're gonna get people on board and you're gonna see things scale. That's what it means to me.
And André, you mentioned that when you have technical background, you might get into the technical details, or if you have very strong financial background, you're going to get into all the bits and bytes of the numbers. Do you think that like having a strong technical background can be a problem or at least a risk for a FinOps leader?
Yeah, I think so. Really think so. Before this interview or this conversation, I was thinking on this, and I absolutely thought that it's a blessing to me not to be that of a strong engineer or being an engineering type. I'm more of a numbers guy and a people person, and that helps. Uh, Basically, people tend to do what they are strong at, and what they had their biggest successes in. So if you coming from a strong engineering background, you might run to save a lot of or solve a lot of problems and rightly maybe so for that season, but you get stuck in that. And I, like I told you before, I think in most of the organizations there's already great engineers and then engineering managers in the product teams and in leadership sometimes that are well suited to those do those things.
And how do you build a good relationship with engineers? Do you have any tips for us?
No, I was coming here to ask you, what's your no, I think please help. No, but I think like they are usually very skilled people, smart, uh, good in to focus in on problems and solutions. So let them be the heroes. Come to them and say, "Hey, can I help out? What are your problems?" And maybe say, "We're seeing that this might be a thing that if not too big to you, but on organizational level, this will scale and be impactful." I think you need to approach them with interest. I think most people are really responding good to showing interest in what they do, how they define problems, and what their roadmap is ahead. So that's one of my strengths, I hope. that I show interest. And then they have to dumb it down a lot so I can understand it, of course. But yeah,
I'm sure it's your strength. And we're like 5 minutes into the conversation. I think you mentioned scale like three, four, 5 times
yeah,
already.
I heard it. I heard it.
No.
I heard it.
So how do you scale up FinOps across a company with over 140,000 employees?
Oh, first of all, you're being blessed with good people around you. I am so blessed with great, talented coworkers. I can mention all of them. I can mention my core team. I can mention the champions. I can mention all the great leaders I have that are supporting us. Jakob Knutsson. Hi. Thank you, Jacob Knutsson. But there's so many talented people to begin with. If you are in a good H&M is a proud employer who is good at attracting good people. That's a good start. Okay, but besides that, you need a vision, and it helps having your managers somewhere along the line. You can go against the stream if the market is strong and people money is no option and cost savings is not important, just new features and functions from the product teams, then that might be the biggest message from the leadership. And then in the PI planning, well, optimization might be a strong number 3 or 4, and their new number 2s coming in. So that also play in where is the leadership, or where is the market? Is it a bull or bear market right now for the company? So, and if you're like me, coming from H&M, where cost awareness is weaved into the fabric, I don't have to turn around any of the management. They are really on the ball for the cost awareness thing. So just aligning and doing that, spending time to answer your question, getting into to the alignment with the other prioritizations is important. Having a vision, and then of course when you start off, it might be that you don't have that much of resources and the mandate. But I usually say to other leaders, like, if you can get another person from another team just 20%, get that person in. Create a virtual team. Get as many people in. Draw them close to your vision, and try to cater to whatever they are looking for. That's how I think you should need it. But strong management, of course, alignment with what that is about, and good people all around you. And I have both. Lucky guy, lucky me.
Oh my God, I have so many questions, but let's take it one by one.
Okay.
You talked about working with great people that are part of the same vision and mission as you. Do you do active work to actually acknowledge their cooperation when it comes to FinOps?
Could you specify the question? Who, what people?
Yes. So you have now other people on your team that are now collaborating with you and working with you on your vision, right? Although they have other tasks as well. They have other goals as well. Do you do anything actively to acknowledge the work they do when it comes to FinOps?
I try to give them all the shine that they deserve. Like I'm speaking about them right now. So yes, we take no, um, we don't take credit for all the great things that happens. The FinOps core team does so much more than just cost avoidance. We drive upskilling programs, new government and optimization processes with other people, and we run a lot of different initiatives. But in all, I think we are good in giving them the positive feedback and acknowledgement of what they do.
Yeah, I think it's very important. And I think you're the first one on this show that actually mentioned specific people.
I can name 15 people now, but I won't get into it. But Jacob Knutsson, he gets my special, you know, mentioned here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you mentioned that you have a very good management buy-in.
Yeah.
Do you leverage it in any way to promote your goals? For example, asking the executive team to talk to other people, to push people across the organization. Do you leverage it in any way?
Within the organization, I just had one great leader to ask another big leader. to do the basic FinOps training. They are pretty far from it, and they said yes. So when they do it, then the pressure is on for the unit leads to follow suit. So that might be an answer to your question. Of course, I have asks like we need budget for XYZ, big upskill programs and whatever, not for just for the core team, not just for for my champions, but for the whole community of practice to so they don't have to take their own budget for training for that. So so yes, I have a lot of ask and support from them, and I ask a lot from them, of course.
Certifications for leaders, that's amazing. Are you talking about the FinOps Foundation certifications or?
I always speak about the FinOps Foundation, but yes, but since I'm a fanboy and so grateful for everything they've done, but yes, I'm speaking about the basic training for the management or leader persona. So I asked my upper management to do the training, and they have said yes. I have not yet seen the certificates, but they have said I trust them.
Yeah, yeah, it will happen, I'm sure. And I can tell you that these certificates are great. I also did all the certificates of the foundation. So I'm also a fanboy. So what made you a fanboy of the foundation, Andre?
I was I'm from a background of software asset management, and I eventually saw that FinOps was interesting and something to invest time in. So I'm actually a protege of the foundation. I got my company to pay for my practitioner certification, but I actually got the scholarship from the foundation to do the professional certification. So I'm really grateful for that part. Um, but why I went to with the foundation, I don't think there's anyone else as good or as that big or as generous in serving the community with good frameworks and the community.
And you talked about certifications and training. You talked about the framework that they develop and you use. Are there any other elements of the community work they do that help you?
Sure, I get to meet with a lot of practitioners. I attend the meetups, and I've been co-hosting some meetups and whatnot. So yeah, but basically they are pushing the agenda all the time for the FinOps community. You know that the latest version with scopes and the SaaS and everything. I mean, it's almost hard to keep up since you try to mature all of this into your organization. So no, I think they are really paving the way for the for the FinOps community and also parts of the software asset management community and others. So great job on them.
Yeah, I totally agree. And besides going on podcasts and talking about the foundation, what does being a FinOps ambassador means?
Oh, it's giving away time you don't have to people that you being grateful to other people and passing it on. That's what it means. It means having meetings with other practitioners to say, hey, could we speak on, yo, you're on the focus data sets. Could we speak about that? Or hey, we're looking into to align with TBM. Can we speak about that? And it's all of those conversations making the extra effort just to give back and support because people have been so good to me and I just want to give back.
Yes, and people sometimes forget that FinOps is still a new concept.
It is.
When you go to FinOps X, you see thousands of people doing FinOps, talking FinOps all day. You feel like everyone in the world knows what is FinOps and how important it is, but that's not always the reality. Also, the foundation does a lot of work, and people don't know that. It does a lot of work of educating analysts
Oh, yeah.
on FinOps and where it evolves. And this work actually translates into analyst research and work that's then being passed to executive teams around the world. So that's also, I think, a very important part of what the foundation does to actually educate everyone to what is FinOps and why is it important.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Thank you.
Yes,
Good point.
great. And Andrée, I'm taking you a few minutes back. Besides scale, that was a very common word, you also mentioned vision at least 3, 4 times. So I wonder, what is your vision to FinOps, and how you develop a vision to FinOps?
Wow, you're pulling the hard questions now. Should I be the one telling? No, I use a North Star. I will not quote it here. You might find it in some public presentations. But I try to use a North Star. Let me get back. When I started, took this position in the beginning of 2024, there was basically uh, two consultants sending Azure Advisor emails, and there was no organization. There was nothing to scale, to use that word for the eighth time. Um, so that's where I had a vision. I had a vision for how to run this in a hub and spoke model. That was the first vision, and get some management buy-in. And for the core team, I had to pull two different business units together, talents. I saw former FinOps people and the new FinOps people, and how to somewhat have that vision going forward. And they say in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is a king. So I stepped into having a vision on this is how we could strengthen the FinOps at H&M. And I got the approval of that. But now I tend to speak more on uh, move away from the cost avoidance part solely. I speak more how to bring this upskilling and this culture, and how to sort um, once everything gets going so big, everyone is raising their hand. There's people running in from everywhere. So how do we sort this? How do we keep effectiveness in all of this? And how do we even strengthen the accountability, even though everyone is running in and want to raise their hand and say, we saved this, or we had cost avoidance on that. So now I try to run a big scale, how to have a single pane of truth. So I have a vision. I had a vision back in the middle of 2024 for focus data and all the dashboarding for the upper management, single pane of truth, single glass of truth, and for the teams on the show back. The chargeback was already well set. So that was one vision, and now I try to speak more of how do we mature the FinOps culture at H&M and nurture that, and bring that forth. So that's what I speak of now. So now I try not to speak only about cost avoidance parts or cost savings, cost optimizations, and speak more about what is the next thing that we need to move. I usually say that my upper management still loves to speak about the cost optimizations, but I want to speak on how we create it. You see, that's the difference. Everyone loves the sausage, but few want to speak about how you make them. I love to speak how we make this happen in this optimization factory. Make sense?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But I think what you described is something that I just saw a lot of times, where management want to see cost reduction and cost optimization. And we as FinOps leaders, we want to create, the processes, the framework, like you said, the factory, to have an efficient organization. Do you think there is maybe a risk here where management want to see cost optimization, but you can be over focused on the other stuff and maybe, forget a bit about cost optimization? Do you see it as a risk?
No, I don't see it, because everyone is speaking about cost optimization right now. I mean, everyone is running to the pumps right now, and everyone is really focused in on that. So no, I try to be more like how do I make people, because speaking about effectiveness versus efficiency. Effectiveness is doing the right things. Efficiency is doing the things right. So people tend to run for efficiency, but they forget about effectiveness. And that goes for everyone in what they do. But for me also, as a FinOps lead, being effective is speaking about how we scale this and how we nurture this, how we create a common understanding of this. And once the fad of 2 or 3 years that we're in now, when that is gone, and maybe I don't know what I'm doing in 3 years, there's still going to be a strong community of practice, and it's going to have matured enough even though maybe might not say 5 years. I'm not around anymore. So no, no, no. I'm not. I'm afraid I'm gonna be too much in the cost optimization. And like I said, that's not scaling. Having a guy like me just running that, I'm part of it, and I'm part of the harder discussions in all the rate optimizations, commitments. If something goes wrong 1 year, 2 year from now, it's going to be my name written on it and some other leaders. But no, I'm more afraid we all get too much stuck in the efficiency, losing track of effectiveness.
Very interesting. Great. André, I want to take it to a completely different place and moving to talk from running the FinOps program to running the FinOps team. So you run a pretty significant team of 5 individuals. They're also not all in Sweden, they're across the world. How do you manage a global FinOps team?
Yeah. Once again, you're the CEO. How do you how I'm asking you? No. Well, I do it the only way I can. I try to be a very open leader. I have a lot of drive, and I try. Maybe the answer I could give you is I have this Swedish management style. I give people accountability, uh, and I give them a lot of freedom, and I expect them to perform. And and I have decent amount. I should not say that. I have decent amount of patience, um, but I expect everyone to do their absolute best all the time. I don't expect people to work over hours, but I expect them to check in and take everything really seriously. So I give people, I trust in people. I maybe give them more trust than they would get in another culture. I do not micromanage. I don't have time for that. And I've seen the people in my team, especially some of them who is quite in the start, in the early of their career, how they have matured, and they are impressing me every day. Bharat and Ganesh, you know who you are. Those guys have really matured. They are so good. They are really impressing me every day, meeting up to this Swedish leadership style to the point.
Very interesting. And I'm also curious, you talked a lot about, working with the leadership and scaling up across the organization and building the culture. Is your team also involved in that, or they're doing more of the tactical work and you're doing more of the work with the leadership and the other leaders in the organization?
I'm doing the strategic tactical part, and my team are more on the operational or tactical. But I also do operational when needed. I cannot be in every meeting with every team, but with the greatest stakeholders, the biggest product teams, I have weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings with them, speaking FinOps. And then, of course, I run my core team meetings and I run the champions meetings and all of that. But I would say it's more on me to run with the bigger issues. But then again, I become the specialist and the expert when I meet with my upper management. So then I'm their analyst. So you know how it shifts when you go to them. It's like, hey, can you figure this out for me? I go, okay, I will set out 3 days just to sort this specific question.
Of course. And I think it's also very important that you actually do some of the operational work yourself and engaging directly with the engineer organization, because that also gives example to your team and also help you make sure you understand what's going on in the trenches.
Absolutely. Oh, the trenches. I mentioned the two guys who have matured so much, super great guys. I call them, I always say, you guys are in the trenches every day. You are my heroes. And they are. They are the long arms and the ears and the eyes of the core team. And then we have other people who are more working with me on the capabilities, dashboards, and others stuff. Yeah. Engineers.
Great. And what would you say is your biggest challenge at the moment?
Wow. The biggest challenge. Yes, it is. It's only, luckily, it's only within 4 or 6 months, but it is to really cram in this single pane of truth. Is that how we say it? This single pane
Single
of
pane of
glass.
glass.
A single pane of glass eventually becoming a single pane of truth then. Uh, for our workload optimization initiatives scaling in 300 teams. I have a solution for it. We have a setup for it, but now we just need to do some hard PI planning to create that. And then eventually, once again, making it scale and get, even though we would have the best ways of doing it, it's going to be down to communicating to all the teams. So communication is a big part, how to communicate and get effect of your communication for all of them to start to change their way of working and feeding back all of these optimizations. So you see, now I spoke about optimizations, so how to get them in, but really how to feed that mass. The rate optimization is automatically, of course, but if an engineer is making a decom or is doing some changes from premium disks to other, standard disks, and how much effect that is, and all the yada yadas, that's very granular data, and if we can get that mass in, we can have really good data on that, and it's going to be connected to all the cost codes. Okay, now I gave you the solution, but this is what my heart is full of right now to get this moving.
Okay, that's great. And do you think this challenge you're gonna solve with a tooling or things you will build in-house? How are you gonna tackle it?
In-house, oh, in-house, because we're already invested in all of that, and besides that, we're taking all our new dashboards into new medallion data structure, as because that everyone knows that the focus data is so big, it's it's crazy big, so we have to remodel the data structure for that. But yes, we have made a big bet back in 2024, since we're quite a big organization, that we will have the capability to make this kind of tooling and visualization dashboarding ourselves.
I actually see it as a trend in enterprises to build this dashboarding by themselves with a BI platform.
So maybe I'm trendy. I'm part of the trend, but
You're ahead of the curve. You're ahead of the curve. You're not a
uh,
part of the trend.
I don't know. But to swing back, we had the conversation, but I see a need for tooling on specific problems. That I think the tools. I think this is the trend too in the community, but with some good rationale to it. But I see that the niche tooling providers like yourself, they have a good spot in the market. That's where we're not looking for tools. We're still in the people and process focus right now. Technology is maybe a later part, but or external technology. But I think niche players like yourself, what you bring to the market is always have a spot.
I hope so. Sure hope so. I
Yeah,
believe so, honestly.
yeah. We believe so.
Cool, Andre. That's been fascinating and great to learn about how to do FinOps from you. I would like to move to the second part of the episode where we talk and learn more about you.
Sure.
So today you live in Stockholm, Sweden.
Yes, I do. I live with my wife, and we have together 5 teenagers,
Wow.
or some of them are no longer even teenagers. The oldest one is 25. But we have a lot of kids, and we are engaged in community. We love to be outdoors. I'm an outdoors person. You mentioned I'm a fly fisherman, and before COVID, I was not as heavy as now, and I could take long, jogs in the forest. Now it's short and slow, but I really enjoy a good run, even though I run slow and short nowadays. Yeah, that's what I like to do.
And you fishing with your family and kids?
No, my wife says, no, Andre, you can keep all of that. You can keep the upper parts of Sweden. You can keep all the mosquitoes. Hey, Andre, I would love you to keep that interest hobby to yourself. Uh, so now it's me and most often it's an old friend from my upbringing that I go with. Living in a tent by the stream, no cell phones, no nothing.
Wow, that's great. I should definitely do it more myself. No cell phone. And any of your kids followed you with the fishing hobby?
Yeah, actually, no, not yet. I actually started fishing when I I think over 30 years old. I didn't have time for that when I was younger, but the oldest guy came with when he was around 19 and he really enjoyed it. But he said I was snoring too much. And if you're in a tent and there's mosquitoes outside, so I think I'm gonna need to tell him I'm not snoring as much if he would come again with us. But we had a good time. We had a good time. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Great. And do you have any book or movie recommendation for us?
I read a lot, mostly the Bible, but when it comes to movies, the only movie in modern time I've seen more than 2 times, or maybe more than 1 time, is The Big Short. I don't know why, but I just love the movie The Big Short. There's so much good things, so many good things in that movie. It's of course it's a terrible story what happened to the effect of peoples, but it's a great movie. The Big Short. See it.
I watched it a couple of times, and I also love it. It's a great movie, and it also has a very strong moral to it. So that's really nice, and it's also an educating movie. They have these scenes where they stop and explain
Yeah, 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 yeah,
economics
yeah, yeah.
and how things work,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they're doing it in such an amazing way. There is the part when they explain everything in the casino.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
Like with
good.
people betting on the person that is betting. So I think it's a very educating movie, and I definitely loved it myself. I also, by the way, read a lot of Bible, at least once a day. So I have this thing when I learn one chapter a day. So looks like we're sharing a lot of mutual interests.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. That's good.
That's great. And Andre, for our listeners who want to engage with you further or ask further questions, what is the best way to reach out to you? Is it via LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn is the best way, and I actually respond to 99% of the people. Um,
Yes.
so
And I can approve that you also responded to me. So
yes, I did.
I'm validating what you're saying here.
Yeah, yeah. And to your
And
colleagues.
to my colleagues as well. That's
Mm.
true. That's true.
So please reach out to me if you have any questions or comments or want to debate anything. So
Yeah. So to all our listeners, please do reach out. Highly recommended. Andre, thank you so much for joining us today.
thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
It was all my pleasure. I also want to thank our listeners who keep on listening every episode and learning from the amazing FinOps leader that we're hosting. If you learned something new today or you had a lot of fun, please share it with your friends. Andre, thanks to you again. This has been another exciting, fascinating episode of FinOps in Action. See you next time. That wraps up another episode of FinOps in Action. Thank you for joining. For show notes and more, please visit finopsinaction.com. This show is brought to you by Point 5, empowering teams to optimize cloud costs with tip detection and remediation tools that drive action.